Hi guys, welcome to the first of our tutorial videos, and today I'm going to teach you how to land. Let's go. Yeah, like that. So before we get into this, I just wanted to talk a bit about why we wanted to do tutorial videos. Essentially, we've been doing this a while, and when we started there wasn't a lot in the way of resources available for people who wanted to learn parkour. So we had to figure things out, which meant we did a lot wrong. Yeah. So we're kind of hoping that if we break the moves down well and pass along the knowledge we've learned through our mistakes, hopefully someone out there might avoid making our mistakes. So if you want to learn, check out these videos. Let's get into it. So today we are going to teach you 2 techniques for landing. They're not the most flashy or exciting techniques, but they are among the most important things you will ever learn in freerunning. They are the standard landing and break roll. So let's get into it. Now, your standard landing is going to serve you for the majority of your day-to-day freerunning needs. So we'll show you a few clips and then we'll get into breaking the move down. So we're going to start with the standard parkour landing. Now this will serve you for the majority of your freerunning needs day to day. Unless it's higher than your head height, usually you can use this move, although sometimes it's not going to be appropriate and you're going to have to maybe roll or something else, but generally this one's pretty good. So the first thing we need to know is how to be landing. So we want to be landing on the balls of our feet, or possibly just behind the balls of our feet. Ideally not on our heels, because it doesn't let your ankle flex, and not on the toes of our feet, because that can make your ankle flex too much and cause sprains and injuries. So that foot placement we're getting is really important. We're going to be starting from nice and low, so that if we don't quite get it right, it's not too much of an issue and we're not going to hurt ourselves. So we're going to find something really nice and low. We're going to stand on it, we're going to drop off, get that landing on the balls of our feet, bend our knees as soon as we hit the ground. So I hope you'll have noticed there that as I hit the ground, I'm bending at 3 places: ankles, knees and hips. My back is staying straight. Really important, you don't want to be leaning forward, because that can make you fall forward if your weight is positioned too far forward when you land and then you face plant the floor. Not so much fun. So my back was staying straight and everything was nice and aligned. Dropping straight down, and I'm slapping that ground with my hands just to absorb any extra force. Started from really low, so if anything was to go wrong, it wouldn't really be a problem. But that's not really going to teach us a great deal. So what we need to do now is find something higher, build up a little bit of technique and strength. Right, so this new spot I found is pretty good, because as you can see, it's gradually getting higher as it goes down. Now, where I'm sat is about shoulder height on myself. You might want to find something a little bit lower. I'd say start at waist height, because that's going to let you get comfortable. But just so this video isn't 4 hours long, we're going to skip to this. Now this wall gets to about my head height at the end, and that is as high as I would say this technique is safe for. But having that increase in height just lets you progress within one spot at your own pace. There's no need to rush this. You just want to get comfortable with each landing before you move on. So we're going to start here, and we're going to slowly move down. Now a good trick, rather than standing up straight, where my head is probably off the shot now, to cancel out some of the height, we're going to crouch before we take off. This just is a psychological trick really. It makes me feel like I'm dropping less high, and therefore rids a bit of that fear. So we're going to come to the edge, and we're just going to drop off, and it's the exact same technique. I'll show you again. Come to the edge, we're going to spot our landing. Really important to know where your feet are going to land. So we're going to look down, we're going to spot our landing, and that's it. So we jump from here, we're feeling pretty comfortable. We're not going to go far, we're literally just going to take a step. Exact same thing. Now, I'm only doing this a couple of times each, but like I said before, you're going to want to drill this. So it's going to be repeated again and again and again, so that every time you don't even need to think about it, you're just landing. Right, I'm going to take a second here. This sort of height is where the roll and the landing kind of mix. If you're just dropping down, it's not too important to roll because you can absorb that force quite nicely. But if you were to be running, or if you had any form of momentum, you're probably going to want to roll from here because otherwise chances are you're going to face plant. So after we've done this, we'll get into the roll. Again, exactly the same technique. Down, slap the ground. Cool, so we're going to stop here for just 1 second because a really important part of knowing how to land is understanding what happens when you hit the ground. So I'm not going to go into too much depth with the physics of this because that's going to get a bit boring. But essentially, as you move, you acquire energy. And when you hit the ground, that energy is transferred into a force that if you don't do something sensible with it, can damage your joints quite badly. So that's why we learn these techniques. Now essentially, the point of our landings is to spread that force out so that it's not all compressed into one area. And the most effective ways of doing that are to use your joints together to absorb that force. Now when we land, this is what, whether we're rolling or whether we're just slapping the ground to absorb it, this is why we always bend at the knees, we always bend at the hips, and our ankles are absorbing that force as well. So as you can see, as I land, my ankles, my knees, and my hips are all bending. My form is good, I'm in a nice straight line, and I hit the ground. This, as I say, spreads that force out, and if that's not enough, the roll spreads it out even further. So let's get into the roll. So now we're going to learn the break roll technique. This is a useful move for if you're dropping from height or for if you're landing a jump with a lot of forward momentum to get rid of, because this absorbs a lot more energy than your standard landing. So we'll look at a few clips again and then we'll get into it. Let's go. So at first glance, this might look just like the standard gymnastics forward roll that most people learn in school. Not quite, there are a few differences. Mostly, the important one, gymnasts roll over both shoulders. Now they've got a nice soft floor for this, so it's kind of fine for that and it looks really nice. Suits their purpose, is fine and is a great technique. For us, it doesn't quite work that well. So we roll slightly different. We go from one shoulder, across our back, the opposite. Behind the shoulder really doesn't matter, but it's entirely your choice. Now if you've done martial arts before, you may have come across this technique once or twice. It's fairly similar, in fact it's basically the same as the break roll used in most martial arts. So the first thing we need to do is pick which shoulder we're going to be rolling over. Now I prefer my left because I learned this as a martial arts technique and we started from the start, but you can use either shoulder, it really doesn't matter. The important thing is to know which side you're comfortable with. Now I always recommend, before you actually go for the roll, you just take a couple of minutes to figure out which one that is. And the easiest way I found to do that is basically start from crouch, put your hands on the floor in front of you, and just kind of twist yourself, putting your shoulder close to the floor to see which side feels more comfortable to you, really. You will find one side feels a lot more natural than the other. For me it's my left, I'm a lot more comfortable rolling this way, much more comfortable on this side. But if you feel you're right, then you go for your right. We're going to practice that move a few times just to get ourselves comfortable with absorbing and taking our weight on that front side. So just down and up, just to get us used to it. So to begin with, we're going to start from crouch. We're going to place our hands. Now we're comfortable with the leaning forward, we need to complete the roll. Now the first time we do this, we're going to go very, very slowly. We're not going to worry about standing up. As we lean forward, we're going to tuck our chin in so that our chin touches our chest and it's slightly the opposite side of rolling. We're going to either kick with our legs, which is essentially what's going to get us over. Don't worry about standing up from this one. Try and keep your legs tucked so your feet land flat on the floor. So, crouch, place our hands, tuck our head, and roll. Right, so now we've got that technique, we're comfortable with the roll from crouching, we're consistently going across the middle of our back, and we're not hitting our shoulder or our hip bone on the floor. Next step, start from standing. Now this is exactly the same. All you're doing is adding in that first landing technique before you roll. Still with no jump, stand, drop, and roll. Now if you can, come up standing from it. All that requires is to push with your legs as soon as your feet touch the floor and maintain your balance. Practice this again and again and again. We need to drill this every single stage multiple times so we get so comfortable with it. Again, one more time. Standing. To roll. Nice and easy. Once we're really comfortable with that, we can move it on. Right, so once we've got that technique comfortable, now time to start with a little bit of power. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a run up, we're going to take off here and we're going to jump as high as we can. Now as soon as we hit that ground, we're going to combine those two landing techniques, bend our knees and roll straight away. That's going to absorb the force, hopefully stop us from hurting ourselves. I hope you enjoyed this technique, guys. Again, it's not one of the flashiest, but it's really important and should save your knees and your hips and your ankles some serious injury. That's always good. Next tutorial video should be up soon. Hopefully that one will be a little bit more fun. Keep practicing your rolls and we'll see you next time. Cheers.